Hello, welcome back to Dayo Israel in conversation with. I have a I'm honored actually to be interviewing this great legend who has inspired the world, who has inspired me as a person. I've read his book, I've been told about him a lot of times. I have the privilege of sitting next to him. But I don't take this for granted, Brian Tracy. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity. My guest today on Dayo Israel in conversation with is Brian Tracy, and Brian is a fountain of knowledge. But you know, despite all your experiences in life, you've kept on persisting and going on and going on and going on. And it would amaze you the innumerable number of people that your life was inspired and you've been able to challenge and influence. Do you get into countries and people walk up to you in the airport and say, "I've read your book"? How do you feel at this moment?
It's a very nice feeling. Thank you.
In 2010, you were diagnosed with throat cancer, and you had chemo and you had surgery and radiation. You recovered, I think about 6 months after.
Yes.
What was that period like for you? You, the father of motivation.
It was very much to me just like part of work or business. When they told me I had cancer, I felt it was a great inconvenience because I was so busy with my work. And so I said, all right, how do you deal with cancer? I read about 10 books on the subject. I did all of my research, and I followed the results of my research. And 6 months later, I was cancer-free.
Let's literally say you played a major role in becoming cancer-free.
Yes.
And this was reading. Reading culture is something that is challenging for a lot of people in Africa, trying to bring back the reading culture.
Yes.
And this is encouraging and inspirational that through reading you could actually deal with an ailment of cancer.
Well, not through reading, but just through understanding the process. If you don't read, then you are like a child. You have no idea what is happening. But if you read and study and get good opinions, and the internet will give you all the information in the world, then you get a very clear idea. So you are not afraid because you understand what is happening. And you understand what your doctors are recommending. You understand what the process of treatment will be. And so you just go through it like you would go through having a car crash and breaking your leg or having an injury and just recovering. So you just learn with good information.
What was the reaction from your family at that time when the news came out?
They were very worried for me. Because cancer often means death, and yet because I was relaxed about it, and I was positive and cheerful, they were relaxed. They were okay. But they were very supportive.
And so you're saying to all the cancer patients who are probably watching this that they need to take a positive spirit.
Yes. Well, I did an interview movie on Facebook called "My Battle with Cancer," and it explains the entire process that I went through. And anybody who has cancer or who has a relative who has cancer should go to the internet and go on Facebook, Brian Tracy.
Or YouTube, you mean?
Or YouTube, I mean, yes. Yeah, that's right, and YouTube. And there's an explanation of it and an explanation from some of my friends as well. So it's very helpful. People all over the world have seen that. They go to China, go to India, go to Europe. People have watched that with their families.
Can I ask you a question? Did you at any time feel that you were going to die through that period?
No.
You were never scared?
No.
Have you had any fears?
Oh, I don't. My only real fears are that something would happen to a member of my family. I don't fear for myself. I just fear for my family. And I find that most people reach that point, if they're mature enough, they're not afraid for themselves, but they're concerned for their families.
And so you place a very strong value on family.
Yes.
Because I see that coming up all the time. You exercise for 60 to 90 minutes, you said. And how does that help your ability? Your thinking ability, actually.
Repeat the question.
You exercise for about 60 to 90 minutes. How has that
minutes?
helped you to 60 to 90 minutes, you see?
Right.
You exercise for every day.
I have to...
Exercise. Do
Yes.
you still exercise for 60 to 90 minutes every day?
Okay.
How does that help your thinking ability?
Well, it keeps your mind very clear and keeps you very healthy. So physical exercise, even if you just walk, is excellent for your body. In our modern society, people don't exercise enough. But the rule is you need to exercise about 30 to 60 minutes a day. My goal is to exercise about 300 minutes each week.
That's how you keep fit.
Yes.
You always ask one question, Brian. You say, if you know what you do today, what would you do differently?
Yes.
I'm throwing that question back at you.
I live my life completely caught up. I don't have any regrets or anything that I would have done differently. I believe if I would have written books earlier, but that's a very small thing, because I was producing audio programs, and I was the best-selling audio program author in the world before I wrote my first book. So I have never missed anything. I would like to have done more things, but I use my time very well. And I do more than most people. I still write 4 to 8 books each year. Plus I speak and give seminars 100 times. Plus I run 3 businesses, and I create audio and video learning programs. Plus I'm involved with various foundations and institutions. Plus I'm on the board of directors of organizations, so I'm quite busy. And then I have my family.
I was waiting for that, actually. You mentioned earlier you've been across Africa, you've been everywhere. But before I go to that, let me ask you about family one more time. How did you propose to that one?
I never proposed. We met each other and we had an instant understanding that we would get married. And we never even discussed, will you marry me? It was just automatic. We knew when we met each other that we would marry and stay together forever.
Love at first sight?
Yes, it was just intuitive.
So how did you, now a lot of people complain about marriage, there's a lot of divorce, the rate is increasing.
Right.
What's your best marriage secret?
Well, I think every 2 people are different. And Barbara and I are very compatible. And we believe in the same things in terms of family, children, money, religion, God, philosophy, politics. We believe in all the same things, so we're very compatible. So we never have any major arguments.
We have minor arguments.
Yes, but that's true for me, which is very fortunate, but not true for most people. Many people get married young, and then they find that they're very different from the person they married. Or they get married and they grow apart over time. And so there's no rule. I have just been very blessed in that my marriage has been a wonderful marriage. 4 beautiful children, 4 beautiful grandchildren, wonderful life.
Do you have any advice about marriage?
Well, I've put my advice about marriage into many programs. And again, every 2 people are different. So advice for one couple does not apply to another couple. You try to find someone with whom you are very compatible and spend a lot of time with the person you're married to. Time is the most important investment in a good marriage and in raising good children.
So you believe in having long-term courtship then?
No, not necessarily long-time courtship, but I believe if you're with someone, you spend a lot of time with that person. One of the great problems today is people get so busy with their work, especially a man, that they don't spend enough time with their family. And they start to drift apart. Only regular communication keeps a marriage or a relationship together.
There have been so many sexual indiscretion happening to major world leaders, to private sector leaders, to government leaders, to even church leaders. What do you think is wrong?
Each person is different. Each situation is different. I have no opinions and no judgments.
Or what words do you have in terms of advice to people who are leading and bleeding? Because there are leaders who are bleeding.
Yes, well, again, I cannot judge or give advice to somebody else for their own morals and their own opinions. I think it's very stupid for a person to ruin their career by mostly chasing after other women. It's a very stupid thing to do. I would never do it. But then again, I have no opinions and no judgment. Each person has their own life to live.
Patrician Land Corporation was purchased by Fidelity Investment in 1981.
Right.
And that was the same year you struck out to start your career in business speaking and training. My question is, if Fidelity had not bought Patrician Land Corporation where you were working, would you have been the same Brad Tracy we have today?
I have no idea.
So when you moved, was it as a result of that you moved to start a public speaking career? What was the driving force to move you to?
Well, I had been to many seminars, and some seminars were good and some seminars were poor. And after going to a poor seminar, I said I could offer a seminar that's better than this. And I knew nothing about seminars. So I sat down and I designed a 2-day seminar, and I went out and began to offer it in the marketplace. And I began to give the seminar, first to small groups and then to larger groups, and it was successful. It took a long time to be successful, but it started to become successful, and then I recorded it, and the audio tapes from the seminar became very popular, and then I created additional seminars, and I recorded those seminars, and they became popular. The advantage I have is that everything I teach is very practical. They say it's practical and immediately actionable. So you can go to a seminar of mine and get up and do things differently and get different results the next day. I have many people literally change their lives or change their businesses within 24 hours of attending my seminar because they receive so many actionable ideas. Many seminars are given by professors and teachers and even speakers who have never been in business. Is they read business books and they create a business seminar, or professors who have never been in business. And so you listen to the seminars and it's all very interesting theory, but you cannot apply it. It is not actionable. And all my life, I only teach things that you can do. Here's specifically what to do now to get this result. And the people who appreciate my material appreciate that. They appreciate practical things that they can do to improve their lives.
And the good part of it is that your books and products are centered around goals, sales, leadership, and a few other core areas. Where do you see your area of strength is? Because I always had an impression that Brian Tracy was, when you look at, I was also feeling like it was more about sales, training, private sector, and getting results.